So hopefully they'll be there shortly.
We've been watching special coverage on Eyewitness News. We've been here since about 3:30 this afternoon, covering these protests that have been going on throughout the city, but mainly the Fairfax district. We've covered the Beverly Hills area, some in downtown, but it has been an ongoing thing. And now there's a curfew that started at 8 p.m. and it seems like things are quieting down a bit, but there's still a lot going on out there,
including a fire. Let's get now to Chris Christie. He can tell us where he is and what is burning. Chris.
Yeah, this is a new fire, Mark and Ellen. You can see this is going to be the corner of Melrose and Stanley Avenue, LA City Fire, with a presence here in the process of putting the fire out. It's rather large. It looks like it definitely had some time to burn. We'll look for any police presence as well, any sign of looters, but there was reports of looters coming through here and starting these fires and running away with whatever they can get their hands on. So I am not exactly sure which business this is. I'm trying to figure it out, but it's very difficult because of the smoke. It's at least one storefront, one storefront from Stanley, and I can't tell if it's one business or multiple businesses, but there is a lot of black smoke coming from this building. So you can see firefighters still just pulling up here, trying to get some water on this fire.
Robert, that's me, and I am requesting
something has grown in the last few minutes. While we stay on that picture, we want to tell you something from the LAPD. The LAPD is saying that protesters who are arrested will be bused to either Van Nuys or downtown LA. They will be booked, then released. They will have documentation, so they are not rearrested due to the curfew, but they must go straight home. And this is from, this is also a note from Sheriff McDonald. They do get a copy of their arrest sheet with a property receipt for the stuff that was taken from them during the booking and booked in as evidence. But again, they will arrest you. They will bus you to Van Nuys or downtown LA. You will be booked, and then you'll have to go straight home.
And they're not going to rush through the booking. They're going to take their time, so that if these people who are under arrest think they're going to be able to go out there and rejoin the mayhem this evening, they are mistaken. It's going to take a long time. Could take all night. So that is what's going to be happening. But because of COVID, no bail for a lot of offenses, and so the people that we're seeing being arrested here will be most likely, unless it's a felony or a serious felony, will be out of jail within the next 24 hours.
And we continue to watch this scene that's happening, the fire that's taking place, and hopefully they'll be able to get that under control. We see the engines there.
Melrose and Stanley, I believe, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, Melrose and Stanley. You can see the Starbucks on the corner there. And there is some, it looks like some mannequins that they were pulling out. I just can't tell exactly what the business is. You can see they finally have a couple of handlines shooting water, and it does look like this neighborhood business. So I think we're looking at a couple of businesses going up in flames here. And I did notice that there's a crowd across the street. I don't know if these are just onlookers or if these are looters, but let's go ahead and push in there on the corner across the street. I want to get a little bit of a I'm sorry, Jay, go ahead. Behind the store. So, yeah, these do appear to be looters. You can see tagging the building, even tagging the fire trucks. Apparently, we're hearing that some of them are coming out of the back as well. So, the business across the street, right across the street from where the fire department is putting out this fire, is being looted as we speak. So, just an incredible sight here.
Yeah, we're told that's an Urban Outfitters. Yeah, it is. Urban Outfitters. So, that apparently
I think the Urban Outfitters, if I'm not mistaken, is across the street.
Okay, there it is, right.
North side, yeah. So it's literally directly across from the Urban Outfitters.
They're available PSC to respond to Melrose and Stanley for active looting.
Who's been in the Fairfax district. Leanne?
Ellen and Mark, I have to tell you, the amount of damage we are seeing on Fairfax is just devastating. I mean, literally every business on this stretch of Fairfax has been vandalized, has been broken into. You can hear the alarms from one of the businesses we're standing by. You can see what the police have faced out here in the street. That's one of the things that some of the protesters, the crowd, set on fire. The police are lined up here along Fairfax. We are right at Rosewood. And then if you can see down, after we're able to see down along the side here, Soul Stage, there's a shoe store. We spoke to one of the workers in one of the clothing stores here who said that the interior of their store was completely trashed. Everything inside the store, they say, had been looted, had been taken out. As we look farther up, and there you go across the street, you can see what we're talking. They've been able to lift up even some of these metal safety grates and gates covering the entrances to these stores. They've broken the windows and have gone inside. When we were driving by, we saw a big crowd that was breaking into another tennis shoe store. In fact, one of the tennis shoes ended up, somebody tossed it at us on the news van. But the crowd just kind of making its way north here on Fairfax and breaking into all of these stores along the stretch here. And then we were watching them as we were coming into the area. The crowd breaking into stores, then running north, jumping in vehicles, and then continuing to move north. So they're just continuing to advance. And, oh, you can see them now. You can see them. Yeah. So there's a crowd off in the distance there. You can see going into the store. They're trying to break it open. If you can make out. It's hard for me to see from where I am, but Bill, I know, has a better sense of it from the camera there. But you can see them breaking into one of the stores, leading it here on Fairfax. Here in the Fairfax district, and there is just so much debris and trash everywhere on the street here. We see other folks that are just standing around watching, just to see what the police are doing. They're not, these protesters really aren't doing anything, but they're just kind of watching the scene and seeing what's going on. Some continuing with their protests, carrying their signs, and facing off with officers. You can see a group's just standing over there kind of watching what's going on. Again, LAPD in position here in a line, blocking everyone from being able to head down. And we've seen a bunch of officers in the background here as they're kind of trying to push their way north on Fairfax. But again, so much graffiti and just damage. I mean, it's literally business after business after business. Here's another one. That's why the alarm is going on. This is Tony and Guy, the hairdressing academy. The door is completely smashed. They've tagged the entire building. Obviously went inside. You can hear the alarm going off here. And as I said, spoke to a worker in one of the stores here, and he said he's just devastated. He said he just couldn't believe how much damage was inside. He said that one of the neighbors next to them had tried to stop the protesters from going inside, but they weren't able to. And they looted his store as well as the one next to it. So just a lot of damage all in this area. Just hate to see this. I mean, this is exactly what Chief Moore, LAPD Chief, was saying that he didn't want to see. But this is clearly what has happened as these protesters and these well, thieves at this point, the ones that we're seeing that are breaking into these stores as they continue to roam the city here. There's seems to be a key group, or at least a group of them, that appear to be going through doing all this, breaking into all the stores. But LAPD doing the best they can to try to stop them, to try to clear the area. But this section here, a lot of damage. In fact, let me take you. We can come over here, Bill, to show you. I can show you what happened to the side of the building. I'm going to come over here. Thanks, you guys. Here, this is why we're hearing the alarm. This is, there you go. This is some of the damage we're seeing. Let me talk to me. See if will you talk to me? Yeah. Let me talk to one of the protesters. Come on over here. I'm just gonna move you away from my van. You're good, right there. Just tell me why. I know what's the message you want to get out?
The message that I want to get out is that there is a huge difference in America between white Americans and black Americans. They are treated very differently, and although I do not want white Americans to experience what we have experienced from the police, I want the police to come to an agreement with us to give us the same opportunity to have the same protection from them that white Americans have. Latinos, we need the same protection for Latinos. We only want to be treated like people. That's it. Police brutality is out of control. When a black person gets abused by the police, it's like, okay, whatever, we have to riot. When a white person does something, I saw a white woman punch a police officer, and they so kindly asked her to detain herself until she fell and tripped, and then they zip-tied her. But a black man jaywalking is going to get pulled over and thrown to the ground. That's not okay.
Talk to me about tonight, though. When you see the damage all through the area, what do you make of that? And what is the purpose, I guess, of that?
The damage tonight is necessary. You know why? Because this is how we feel every day walking down the street. We don't get to see the beautiful buildings that everybody else gets to see. We get to feel like we don't belong there. We get to feel like trash. We get to feel like garbage. We get to feel like we can't come here. But we came here today because we want to be a part of it. And if they don't want us to be a part of it, we want you to see what our reality is like. This is what we feel like when we walk down the streets. This is what it's like to walk down the streets and this chaos. I'm afraid every time a police officer drives past me. I have a clean record. I have never committed a crime. Law-abiding citizen. I have gone to college. Yet I get pulled over every time I'm driving my car because it's a 2020.
And what, playing devil's advocate, because there are those that are saying this won't change it, this doesn't answer it, we need to do something differently. Violence doesn't beget violence. What do you say to that?
I say that the police need to change because they forgot that they work for us. The police work for us. They work for the people. Since when do you get to go to work and tell your boss what to do? Since when do you get to go to work and tell your boss to get on the ground? When do you get to go into the office and kill him and then still keep your job? And everybody loves you.
Tell me about the curfew tonight. There's an 8 o'clock curfew. Are you planning on staying out, and what are you kind of sensing with that when you're out here tonight?
It's after 8 o'clock, and they absolutely issued the curfew because we were peacefully protesting. We were all kneeling. We were kneeling. We were not violating anything, and they started to throw smoke bombs at us. They shot rubber bullets. We caught a police officer lighting a car on fire. That is not okay. They're putting that on us. We did not do that.
I know that I saw myself, some of the protesters were not that peaceful, that were throwing rocks and bottles to initiate. So that is part of why the reaction comes, is it not?
Yeah, it's, it's not. But one thing that I absolutely want to say is that there is a group of angels out here. There is a group of angels. They are Caucasian, and they are out doing extractions. They are coming in, and they are barricading us from the police, from the bullets, and they are offering rides to people, free rides. They're letting us come into their cars. A stranger got us out, and now we're out here to get other people out. We have a car nearby, and we're just trying to save lives and keep people out of jail. Coronavirus is here. We don't want anybody else to get sick.
Can you tell me what's your first and last name?
I'm Jane Doe.
We're going to need some arrest teams to the
I'm from Los Angeles. I actually was born in Los Angeles, California.
Does this not... I know you want change, and it needs to happen. Does it break your heart in a way, though, to see this much damage kind of throughout the area?
To come over to Pico and La Brea and establish that
it breaks my heart every day that I have to be afraid for my little brother, and I have to be afraid for my nephew. That breaks my heart. Right now, we're controlling the situation, per se, because we actually know what's happening, and we're getting our message across.
How do we change people's perceptions, though? How do we really change the race relations in this country? How do we make a difference?
We bring awareness, because you know how many people don't know who George Floyd is? So many people know the guy with the knee on his neck. They don't know his name. We have to let them know the story. If you know the story, you'll know his name. If you know his name, then you'll know that it's wrong. And if you know it's wrong, then you'll stop. Or maybe when the officer had his knee on his neck, what if all those people standing by rushed that cop? They would have all gotten beaten up, maybe zip tied, but he'd be alive. And I can't sit at home right now and stay there watching all of this on the news and not help, because I'm able-bodied. I have no children, I'm not married, I'm able-bodied, and I'm suffering, and everybody else is suffering, and it's my duty as an American to protect us.
We're going to have an additional way.
We're going to need Jane, I really do. Thank you for taking the time to talk with us. Be safe tonight. Thank you. One of the protesters out here making her voice heard tonight, making sure that everyone hears the message that she wants to send. Again, another live look here at what we're seeing on Fairfax. A lot of the damage all along here. You can see police remain here in that line, in the swimmers line here at Rosewood and Fairfax. I still see protesters and other folks focused on one of the stores down the street, attempting to get into one of the businesses down there, just kind of waiting for the officers to move forward. So this area, a lot of damage, and certainly a lot more of potential problems with folks still out here trying to get into businesses. So this certainly is a very fluid situation, very active situation for LAPD out here and for the protesters as they continue. So live here in the Fairfax district, we ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
It's very moving to hear that young lady speak and expressing the frustration of so many people around this entire country.
Roger, sir. 8 more
it's a sad situation. You know, she said we need to know George Floyd's name.
Yeah, it is perhaps the clearest articulation that I've heard tonight from someone who's actually on the street about why they're on the street, about why they're out there, and why they feel it necessary to be there. And not to excuse
coming
what is happening,
northbound
but to
off La Brea,
explain
do me a
and
favor,
explain the
and you're going
genesis
to
of it.
offload over here. I need you to set up a
That young
blocking
lady,
force north of Pico
talks
at this
about how
gas
she fears
station.
for her
We're going to
little
block
brother.
everybody in, and we're going to affect the rest over here.
She
I
fears
need
for her
another
life
squad
and
that's
her
going to
little
come
brother's
down
life.
to La Brea and San Vicente.
Anybody who's got
So
younger
units that are
siblings or
northbound, you guys
kids
are going to set up your
is,
blocking force here,
is feeling
east to west across La Brea.
We're watching this target. This is at
Have the
San
airship,
Vicente and Pico,
do we have a
and
loading
there's been
dock?
some looting
Is that
happening there.
secure, or do we need to have a squad back there in
We
case
don't see
you
a
try and
police
exit
presence
that
in
rear?
there yet, but it's so hard to tell with the darkness.
Stand by one on the loading dock.
Yeah, go ahead, Chris. What can you tell us where you are?
Yeah, Mark and Ellen, yeah, this is a dramatic situation playing out. This is Pico and La Brea, and that's a Target store, as you see. About 2 minutes ago, it was a drive-up Target store with a number of looters coming out with as much merchandise as they could fit in their car. There were about dozens of cars pulling up, loading the trucks up, loading SUVs up full of clothing and other items coming out in droves. A number of them have been caught in there as LAPD just arrived and are now being taken into custody. Arrest teams on the way out here. Not sure how many more people are inside that Target store, but I can tell you there was almost several accidents as once they saw the cops, they started doing U-turns in the middle of Pico and almost colliding with each other. We've got some tape that we can actually play back for you from literally about 2 minutes ago. I think you may have seen it, of an entire clothing rack, a person pulling an entire clothing rack down the block, and just tons of merchandise just disappearing here. As I speak, there's a separate fire just about a mile north of here, so we're going to go check that out, and we'll come back to you in just a second.
We're looking at that clothing rack on the right-hand side there of your screen.
That I don't know. I just want to make sure that the rear loading dock area with emergency exits are covered.
It's a tragic scene unfolding here as somebody who's born and raised in the city of Los Angeles.
Thank you, ma'am.
It is tragic to see it. It's hard to see it. Hard as well to see the video of George Floyd and his alleged murder by a police officer there in Minneapolis. And it has been a really rough week for all of us, and those of us who had to cover it too. It has been a difficult thing to deal with. And that is a fire that Chris Christie was talking about. It's about a mile away from
Hold
where
there
he
for
is
a second.
right
Let me
now
get, I
in
need to
Melrose.
get a blocking force north of you.
And we'll get a location from him shortly as he gets close. It's a pretty long-range camera, so he's able to shoot pretty far. He was at Melrose and Stanley a little while ago.
Yep.
Oh, that's where the fire is.
that
Okay,
is
so
right.
he's been kind of...
Apparently, this is that fire. It's really blown up here, which is surprising because LA City Fire was already on the scene, but that roof is caving in, and now you see this building is really going up. This is, again, right across the street from the Urban Outfitters that was being looted, next to a Starbucks. It's a clothing store that was being looted, and the fire ensued, and now they are trying to put this fire out. You saw when we were on the north side of it, they had a couple of really strong hand lines shooting water directly into the storefront, but somehow that fire has now gotten out of control. You don't recognize that fire because you saw it earlier. It looked like they were getting a bit of a handle on it, but not so much.
Wow. Well, that's it looks like they're going to lose one here. So this is one of several fires now that have taken place in buildings that we have seen now. And this is different from what we have seen thus far. This is a building, a business that is on fire in the Melrose area, Melrose at Stanley.
It's under construction. There's no product inside, but
this
there
is
is a door.
kind of a
Familiar
window
kind
of an
out.
echo of
So
what we have seen in previous episodes of civil unrest in the city of Los Angeles, going back to 1992 and then before that to 1965.
Roger that. CP, go ahead and
A
respond
building
to
looted and then set ablaze. It is a pattern that unfortunately may repeat itself throughout this evening. The chief of the Los Angeles Police Department, Michael Moore, said what happens tonight really depends on the citizens of Los Angeles and what we can do and what we will allow to happen. His officers, there are 9,000 of them, but that is not enough to be everywhere. They literally can't be everywhere. Half of them are going to work one shift, half of them are going to work the other 12 hours of the day. So it is a city of 4 million people that is being policed by a very relatively, comparatively, compared to other major cities, small police force. We are getting some reinforcements in from Ventura County. The National Guard is on its way. They may be here by around midnight by some reports. And so that will help. But what will really help is if more people observe the curfew and get off the streets. And frankly, if the people who are bent on doing destruction here end up stopping. There are legitimate
Let me check with
reasons at the core of this. There are legitimate grievances and complaints.
No,
and,
negative. They're ordering up more buses right now. And officers that just came forth off La Brea. Thank you. Stand by for your next assignment.
And what we're seeing here is a tragic result of that, in that people are losing their businesses as a result of that. And some people have been injured. We know of police officers who've been injured. We do not yet know of any civilians who have been injured, but we know a number of arrests have been made. And so will continue to be. We've got a citywide curfew in the city of Los Angeles, and also a number of other cities, Pasadena, Santa Monica, and
we're talking about Melrose and Paula. They should be there. Is that the location we're talking about?
Culver City is one of them that have a curfew that began at 8 o'clock and will end at 5:30 in the morning. City Metro buses, county MTA buses will not be running. They have stopped running. One bus was trashed earlier in the day, completely destroyed. And so for the safety of the riders and the drivers, all MTA buses have stopped running. And this can put some people in a real tough situation, because so many people depend on that, and if somebody was out during the day and then suddenly finds himself with no way to get home, they're kind of stuck. So I would imagine there are more than a few people who are in pretty dire straits with regard to the need for transportation tonight. That young lady that we only see the interview a few minutes ago talked about angels, she called them, who are out on the streets right now, who are giving people rides. Who are helping people to get
supervisor
home
to Mobile Field 4 supervisor on La Brea and San Vicente. Any supervisor come up.
And aside from the angels, there are others out who would be much less than that, who would be considered
Archer
quite
Adam
different
is on the air. We're at Mobile Field 4. Go ahead, sir.
Wanton destruction.
Hey, sir, Blue Chief of Police. If I can have the black and white here at San Vicente and Pico, transport these arrestees to Worcester Station. We're not going to wait all night for the buses to arrive.
Some of the weariness, frankly, that we could hear in the voice of the mayor, Eric Garcetti, earlier when he was on the air with us, talking about how the National Guard has been called, how it is time to unify and time to
I've got a team that's clearing the inside of the target location right now, and a platoon watching.
This was going to be a weekend of reopening in the city of Los Angeles. These restaurants that are now, of course, closed, this would have been a night where they could have been open, and people were getting back to business, and now all of that shut down again. Chris?
You're so right. I mean, it really puts a pit in your stomach, and just watching this business go up in flames on the weekend that we were supposed to be reopening. And I got to tell you, a little bit of disturbing information about this firefight. Apparently, they were not able to access the roof in time safely because the LA City Fire Department's manpower has now been depleted. And so that prevented them from making access to this fire, which really concerns me because it's adjacent to a number of other businesses that are clearly exposed. They've got a number of hand lines aimed at this fire, but it's a deep building. It's burning out of control. The flames are shooting well into the air, and it just doesn't take much for those neighboring buildings to catch fire. The Starbucks on the west side or the neighboring businesses on the east side there. So we'll see. They finally have a water cannon up, so they have the ladder truck able to shoot some water from above. But this isn't nearly the firefight that they would normally fight under normal circumstances. Apparently, the LA City Fire Department is running low on personnel as well.
Wow. Well, as we can you zoom in and can we get a picture of the front of the building, see what kind of businesses these are?
3rd and Beverly.
Yeah, from my estimation, it did appear to be a clothing store. I couldn't make out the actual names. We'll come around and try. There was a Doc Martens is one of them, but then there's a couple other ones, and I think the one on the right was the one that was originally on fire that may have started in that building. I did see firefighters trying to clear out some mannequins earlier. So it looks like Tony K. I'm not clear what that says below it, or the sign next to it. I'm not sure if you can. I know you guys have slightly larger monitors over there, but I can't make out. It's very dark.
Okay, I copy. Beverly is
Doc Martens, Tony K, and another store on the right there.
Right. Okay. Well,
the
owners, I'm sure, know what stores they are, and the people who patronize them know what they are and know where they are. So Now all of LA knows that these 3 businesses have
To
been
the CP
lost.
is it possible to get a slammer van? We've got about 10 arrestees.
The fight continues to prevent more loss and greater loss this evening. There's an Ash store right next to that is potentially exposed to fire. That store looks like I don't know, has that one been looted? The Ash
looks
store
like it's
right
been
next to
looted. It looks like it's been looted. Again, I can't confirm that, but it looks like that front window's blown out. And some of the neighboring ones look like they're already boarded up. Lots of graffiti. Not sure if that was already there, but it certainly
to the CP.
doesn't bode well for these neighboring buildings.
Right. Wow. Well, this is Melrose and Stanley. As you look off into the horizon, are you seeing other fires? Are you seeing other places where flames have erupted, or is it just basically this place right now?
Right now,
squads that are over at Pico and La Brea or San Vicente. Anybody who's available, I need resources over here to La Cienega and Beverly for looters at the shopping center, southeast corner.
If not the first, well, I mean the second, if you include that kiosk, that LAPD kiosk over at the Grove,
is on scene, but they don't have enough resources to work it.
Fire of the day.
Well,
yeah, we got a lot of
if it's the
looters over
second,
here, so
hopefully it'll be the last structure fire of the day. Because are you seeing in terms of the streets, are you seeing a lot of people out, or are the streets starting to get deserted like they're supposed to be with this curfew?
It's kind of the way we've been seeing it for the last few weeks, and it's a little more difficult to even spot the groups of protesters that we've been following all day, which now are turned into riots. We just can't see them because of the cover of darkness. That's what happened over at Carlos Grande's location earlier. They had them cornered on the north side of Rodeo Drive at Santa Monica Boulevard, and once they released that tear gas, you're talking about hundreds of looters that went running through Beverly Gardens and straight into the hills of Beverly Hills. They ran into the residential neighborhood, and they were hanging out. Once it got dark, it's really just difficult to see up there.
That's what I'm trying to get.
Not sure what they're up to or what their plan is. The one thing I noticed is that they have
squad that's over La Brea, San Vicente, can you guys come over here to support?
From other parts of the city to come and destroy public property, private property, and
I don't want to get that squad that's out there to become a rescue problem. So I don't want them to jump out of the vehicles and handle that large, widespread looting. Let them have sufficient resources to back them up there.
And again, just after a tough struggle with the ATM, taking a hammer to it and trying to cut it open,
bro, I go to
they basically
Snapchat.
just resorted to throwing it in the back of a pickup.
Every big city
Good luck paying any money in that. They've been out of business for 3 weeks, so serves them right.
Protesting.
Yeah, so the shot on the right is from downtown Los Angeles.
Okay, I copy. Actually,
And
there
you're seeing
a lot of the
LAPD
looters
officers
have now
in
cleared out.
riot gear there. So what that tells
Let me
me
see
is
if I
that
can
we've
see
got
if
an
there's a
incident,
large
we've got
group that
something
maybe we
going
can
on
box them
there
in and
that
take
the
people into
police are
custody.
responding to and
When's it gonna
enforce
even end?
and with some alacrity.
I don't think it ever will.
I'm going to get what street it is and all that. We're going to, if somebody can tell me
Which
that
I
in our
understand where
ear,
they're coming
we're trying
from.
our best to get
That's-
as much information to
Elliot,
people as
your
possible.
last
You
part,
should
your
all,
message came in
everybody should be
broken.
inside. Normally, something like this would tell people, get off the street, get inside, get indoors, it's dangerous. You should all be indoors at this point.
And initially, Eric
Yes,
Garcetti's
sir. I will advise.
curfew was only for the downtown area, and it was soon after that that he realized he needed to make it citywide. So there you see right there. I'm trying to. Can you see
Send
the sign
David
on that?
to Scene 2.
It's 6th and Broadway
Where's
in
everyone from?
downtown Los Angeles. Really kind of goes without saying, I want to kind of apologize in advance for, you're going to see signs, you're going to see graffiti, you're going to hear words
And,
tonight
is there
that
any,
we are not allowed to
protesting
say on
going on in your
television, and you're
city
not supposed to
where
be
you live?
seeing on television, but this is the kind of event where this is going to be happening. So just apologies, kind of a blanket one for all of this, but we are doing our best to cover what is really a tragic situation. Chris Christie sounds like he's moving locations. What we can see here is that between 5th and 6th on Broadway in downtown Los Angeles is some sort of mobilization by a group, a contingent of LA police officers and their vehicles. We can presume from that there is a crowd of people nearby that needs to be controlled or dealt with. Chris, as you're heading where you're... Okay, he's talking to his, he's changing positions right now. We're going to give him a second to regroup and get ready. It's interesting as you see from his perspective over the city, groups of places where you see the lights.
Can you bring those 3 motors to this side
and
of
ahead
our
of those
line?
cars, I saw a lot of
everyone
pedestrians.
doing,
I don't know
man?
if those were officers or if those were
Speak up, say
protesters. So
something
I
in the
guess we'll
chat.
find out.
Let me know what you want to see.
Ready to leave, and
But obviously, there's some reason that they are being deployed there.
I'm playing the scanner
Suter,
also
still
in the
in
background.
the on Melrose, I believe. Are you still there? Where are you?
So, yeah, just let me know what city you want to see, and I'll open up the scanner for
Lost
that.
Suter for right now. So what you have is Air 7 changing positions, and as he does so,
I'm just watching
you
LA
can
right
see
now.
different pockets of activity, different pockets, excuse me, of police responses and firefighter responses.
And it's
Keep in
going
mind,
crazy.
too, you know, people are still having heart attacks.
I watched
People are
them
still falling
break
down
into the
stairs. All sorts
Target
of other things are
and,
still happening
light the
in the
guard
city that the
shack
fire
on
department
fire.
has to respond to.
But it was just a
Paramedics have
small
to
guard
respond
shack,
to.
so
The normal
they put
things
it
that
out
happen
pretty
on a
easily,
city
but now
like this on any given
big,
night are still happening.
Big
And so
stores
there's
on fire
that
in the
response
back
that needs to
here
take
that's
place
connected
on
to a
top
lot
of this
stores.
huge emergency
Yeah,
response
you see,
that's been
looking
generated
over
by
at
the
La
residents.
Cienega at Beverly, they pretty much cleared out. They got some force protection set up over here.
Getting out in the
I'll
streets
give you
and
another
LA County
assessment.
opening
That's
up.
the Festival over here at
You
La
know, and this
Cienega, North
happens on the
Beverly.
day
They're
that
also
first
cleared out, but
Saturday
if you
of
can
this
contact
phase
somebody
that we're opening
that
up
can respond
stores and
responsible party for that, because all
restaurants for
the
dining and eating, and this happens. And it's just been a rough few months for the city of Los Angeles and everybody in the country as well.
All right, so Beverly and Kings Road, I believe that is in the Hollywood area, if I'm not mistaken. Chris Christie overhead, what have you got?
I'm with you, Mark. I think this might be unrelated, but what it appears to be was a group of fire trucks being escorted by LAPD units, perhaps for their own protection, but quite frankly, the call very well may just be for your average kitchen fire. We just don't have any idea, but for safety reasons, they are escorting the fire department through town this evening, because as you mentioned, they are getting regular 911 calls on top of all of the other chaos that's transpiring. We're at Beverly Boulevard and Kings Road. Again, lots of units here responding to some call, some 911 call most likely.
How many
and we're right down the block from the Beverly Center, which has seen an increased police presence as well. I don't have any confirmation about the Beverly
calls,
Center,
man.
but
they're all,
certainly they are keeping an eye on that as well.
And we are looking to see about any type of protesters that are happening in downtown Los Angeles. I was looking on Twitter, and of course that curfew is in effect at 8 o'clock, so it's been in effect for an hour and 34 minutes. We're going to go to Leah and see that she has been down on the Fairfax district. And how's it looking there? Is it getting a little quieter?
They're starting to clear out a little bit, but let me show you the looting is continuing at this one store. We just watched them. They're literally lined up and going in and clearing out. I haven't walked down yet to see, but I believe it is a shoe store. It has to be empty by now. I mean, we just see people like literally they're going in one at a time. Everybody getting what they want and heading out, but they keep going inside this one business here and clearing out anything that they see inside of that one. As I said, all along Fairfax here at Rosewood, there are numerous businesses that have been vandalized and everything inside taken out. But this one in particular, it's very popular, it appears. Lots of folks just waiting to get in and out of that one. And then I haven't seen where everybody's moving from here. We saw them moving north. I haven't heard of anything else yet in this area, but the damage here along this stretch has been done. I mean, there's just numerous businesses, the window shattered, the gates are actually ripped
hopped
off
out of the car to go loot
from
that.
their railings and whatnot as everybody broke in. But you can see, if you can make it out, I mean, we can see that they're lined up. It appears somebody's kind of even in charge of who's going in and out and how often, how many going in and out. And so that is interesting.
They sat in the car.
Someone just pulling up here.
Dropped the people off to go loot that place.
Blocking away. So yeah, this is just, it's sad to see, but this is what is happening tonight in several areas of the city as they have protesters coming in and out doing
These people don't give a shit.
I'm looking at these guys,
about the protests.
And they're wearing black. Some of them have black hoodies on.
That is
crazy. They look similar to the guys that we saw breaking into the shoe store.
They do.
From above.
Actually, they do, and you wonder.
And hanging out outside that one nail salon where they took the ATM.
They're literally, look at them. Their bare faces are on the news.
Is it the same group that's running through and causing a lot of this damage? It makes me wonder. I mean, I can't tell who they are. a strange
can't
fact
even
that everybody's
imagine.
wearing masks,
Leaving
but
with
look at that.
armloads
Oh,
of
fresh
things.
pair
Did
of
we find out what
Nikes.
kind of business
Look
this
at all.
is?
Oh my
531
God! Look at
North,
those shoes.
Something.
They're
531.
rat
What street is this,
shoes,
Leanne?
so those are like, those are dead
Yeah,
stock
we're
shoes.
on Fairfax. We're on Fairfax. I have
They
another
were
one.
rat.
Were you tell me what's your name?
My name's Abel Rivera.
Those are straight
Abel,
dead
you were just
stock
saying that you were here in
shoes.
'92. Were you
Oh,
around?
there's
You saw
some
what happened
retro
with the
fives.
protests and all of the riots
Holy.
then. What is happening tonight? What is your sense? Of
Tonight what happened was they gave everybody a ticket and they rounded everybody up.
Fuck 12.
And these kids got no guidance.
None.
In 200 years, this has been going racism for 200 years. We know the story. Nobody's stupid. These kids have no guidance. They have no one to lead them. This is it's a major movement. It's like they're my army. If no one's willing to step up to guide these kids, I will.
what do you say about all the
Step up
vandalism,
then,
the
bruh.
looting,
The
though? That is
vandalism is wrong. You guys did such a beautiful thing. It is amazing what these kids did. These kids stood up in front of the police, facing guns. We're in America. This is Donald Trump trying to get reelected. This will get Donald Trump reelected. If
Will
you
it?
people keep going out there and looting the streets and breaking
it, though?
people's windows, this ain't cool.
Now,
You're
how do
doing
you?
something
How do we
beautiful.
change? Talk about how do we make a real change though with race relations?
I honestly think with racism, it's gonna take us a couple of years. But right now, these kids started the first movement towards step the talking. And we need to sit down. These kids do not have a leader. They don't know what they're doing.
And how do we stop
Yeah,
this? How
I'm
do we
pretty sure
make
they
sure
know
that
what
this
they're
doesn't
doing,
continue?
bro.
This kind of looting and this damage.
I'm gonna look into this camera and I'm gonna beg every person out there. The only reason you're gonna come out and riot is because you're angry. When you are angry, you can't think straight. So please, when you come out to these streets, this fight ain't over. But this time we're gonna do it peacefully. We'll sit down. Don't act violent. You started a beautiful movement in this country. In 200 years, kids have never risen. This is your world. You kids have started something. But we can't be violent because we're gonna screw that up. And I really want to
This
use
guy's
another
smart,
word.
though.
But please,
Don't do that, Abel.
I rescued a police officer
lot of people
out
see
of the
this
pit
man.
of 9/11. I've been waiting 20
He's
years
smart.
to be compensated. If they would have put me on that bus with all the protesters, that would have been murder. Because I have asthma, I'm diabetic, and I told them, and they took my mask off, and he didn't let me put my mask on.
So you were out here today, Abel, you're saying, and you were cited for protesting today?
Yeah, I tried to calm everybody down. I believe that somebody has to lead these kids in this fight. They need a captain, a lieutenant, but what they need is someone who is not gonna be violent, who thinks,
Facts.
someone who doesn't think with actions.
For real.
Thank you, Abel. I appreciate your time, and very well
you.
said. As Abel stressed that time,
Trump, you
stressing
won't get reelected.
no violence. That would be the key with all of this. Is that, as he said, he really sees the movement,
There really
sees
hasn't been any
these protests
violence.
as the start of something,
I haven't
you know,
seen
something
anything
that is much
violent.
needed in this country. And certainly there is so much anger
I've seen
and
some cops
frustration.
shoot some
But
people
he
with
says
some
that
tear
it
gas
just
and
can't
some
turn
rubber
violent.
bullets,
Unfortunately,
but I
that is
haven't
what we
seen
are
anything
seeing a
violent.
lot of.
Hey,
Is
guys,
the violence that is happening. I
where
see a
you
bunch
from?
of
Let me know who you
trucks,
wanna
fire
watch.
engines headed through. So I assume
Can't hear you now,
They
but should
must-
we go to
I don't know what
downtown
happened to
and
the,
show what's happening there? Can we do that right now?
Let's take a look.
Apparently some looters
it down.
are,
Yeah,
it's
people
happening
loot-
in,
oh, wow.
oh boy.
Okay, wow. Let's take that shot. All
They're
right. Well,
angry
as
at our
we said,
cameras,
they're
so-
angry.
Uh-oh.
They're, you got a good shot of that guy's face. If something happens to our cameraman, that's the guy who did it.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we need to get out of there.
Yeah,
Might
it
be a good
doesn't
idea
look
to get
safe
out
at
of
all.
there. This is not safe. That was
this
an assault.
is
At least
getting-
2 acts of assault there. 3 now against our camera person out there who
crazy.
stood his ground.
Hopefully is okay. We've heard of looting that's happening in downtown Los Angeles on Broadway. A jewelry store apparently has been looted. There is a smell of smoke in downtown. There's some fires apparently on the street like they were doing at the Fairfax district. We haven't. Let's see, maybe Chris will be able to get shots of that soon.
This is about the police.
All right, and what we're looking at here, Chris Christie, are you with us? This is that Melrose?
For them to act like that towards the
No,
press?
we have a call of something going on at Melrose. We're trying to make our way over there, but there's so much going on in terms of LAPD mobilizing across town. It's easy to get distracted. But give me just a second. We'll be right back with you. But apparently something is happening near. Actually, what was that cross street, Jay? I'm sorry.
If anyone's in the stream,
yeah, so we're going to
give it a like,
keep an eye on that, and also we're going to try to figure out what's
something.
happening in downtown Los Angeles right now. But
somebody.
apparently now there's reports that they've hit 5 different stores in downtown Los Angeles. We saw that big police presence, Mark, and now they are walking the streets. I'm looking at video right now on my Twitter feed of the PD walking down the street.
Yeah, so what we had there at 5th and Broadway in Los Angeles was our camera position. I don't know who our cameraman was there, but he was clearly assaulted by a bunch of people who ran up on him. And in addition to making obscene gestures at the camera, actually, I think one of them pushed him, and then 2 of them threw water bottles at him.
Yeah,
so there's a danger out there. And, you know, people who want to talk about the news media and our role in society, we're trying to bring you this story in all of its size and complexity and context
North Carolina,
at great personal risk.
maybe?
These reporters out there, Carlos Grande was tear gassed earlier in the evening in Beverly Hills. Our camera person here in downtown LA was, from what I could tell, assaulted. And yet they are both still out there, still on duty, still bringing the story to you. So I hope you have an understanding of what it is that we do and why we do it.
Chilling,
this is important.
LA unfold.
Okay, on the right there is Fairfax Avenue. That's the camera with our reporter Leanne Suter. And there again,
destructive.
I don't know if it's the same group now, but we saw a bunch of guys in black hoodies and white masks that were looting. And I don't know if that's the same group, because frankly, you know, there's a lot of folks in black hoodies and everybody's wearing masks out there. Air 7 now crossing over, that's Century City right now.
That makes the Minneapolis
so
buildings
he's looking,
look like
over, I think that's Century City. Yeah,
peanuts.
and so there's so many different calls and so many different things that are happening and places where they are happening that it's hard to kind of jump from place to place and give you kind of the overall context. The overall story is that what began today with a protest over the treatment of George Floyd by a Minneapolis police officer who is now accused of murdering Mr. Floyd. What began with that in protest against police mistreatment of African Americans and other people of color has devolved now as those who protested have left. Those who have rushed into the vacuum are intent on doing damage and intent on causing mayhem and looting, and that's who's left.
I didn't even know there was a
lit,
third-degree murder.
In the Melrose area, Melrose and Fairfax area, 3rd and Fairfax area, right around there. And we saw looters in downtown Los Angeles, looters in kind of on the outskirts of Hollywood, I guess you could say, in the southern portion of Hollywood. But it's just it's a situation that's going to be a long night in
Think
LA.
of the
It has been widespread, and we were hoping that this curfew would, go into effect and be sufficient, but it's looking like downtown Los Angeles. There's some more things happening there and getting worse. So we're going to keep an eye on that one and try to get there overhead and see what's happening on that Broadway street where they were having
40 times
officers deployed there. They were walking the streets. We saw looting happening.
Going on
and our
in
photographer, hopefully, we're going to
Sacramento.
find out if
I'm in
our
the
photographer's
mountains by
okay.
Nevada
Yeah,
border,
it sounded like, I mean, it looked like he was okay. For one thing, he kept shooting. He kept rolling, which is what all news photographers are trained to do. You know, when you're out somewhere and something is happening, good, bad, or whatever, even if it's threatening your safety, you keep rolling to at least document what's happening to you. And so we had a real...
Let's see what's going on in SAC. What am I doing live? Here we go.
I mean, we don't know how long this period is going to be. We don't know how long we're going to...
That's some bullshit. Bro, I don't see anything in Sacramento. Let me look on... It was lit 3 hours ago, I can tell you that much.
In public, and we also...
Shit. I hear in this. Hey, where are you from, bro?
I think before people feel safe to leave their homes sometimes.
You're here
another fire that is that the same fire we've been looking at?
You're
or is
in
that
the
a different
protest,
one?
bro?
No, it looks like the same one.
Yeah, we're going to hear once Chris
building.
Christie is in position and he's
still roasting, and that
getting
building
a
is
sense of
to
some of the assignments that he's going to have to get to. He's been talking to our assignment desk, so we're letting him do that. In the meantime, it looks like our Leanne Suter is on Melrose. She's getting into position right now. We can even take a shot if we want to.
Months fighting that
looks
fire,
like a skirmish line has established itself.
Could you imagine?
Chris,
So
Christy, are you able to talk to us now?
Yeah, I've got you, Mark. So we were actually down the block from that clothing store fire on Melrose, back at the original fire on Melrose that we brought you earlier. Actually, this would be the third fire. I think I said second fire of the day so far. This is that original fire that apparently is rekindled. There is fire on the roof now. The fire department is not here yet. I understand that Orange County is on their way over here to help out. So Orange County is on their way to help out here. You can see a helicopter with Night Sun on this building. This is next to that, I believe it's next to the Adidas store that we originally brought you earlier in the evening, one of the first fires that we saw up here. You can see lots of damage in the front, but what's most concerning is that there's fire on the roof, and we already know that the LA City Fire Department has been depleted. And so that's what's taken a long time to even get anybody over here. Very rare in the city of Los Angeles that you would ever see a fire like this without anybody on it. And that's a concerning thought when you think of the fact that the LA City Fire Department right now, at the present time, is unable to respond to all these calls. They're doing the best they can to manage their dispatch, but right now we're waiting for Orange County to come and assist, is what I'm being told from our assignment desk. This is Melrose and Spalding.
What's LA's population?
This was where that original vacant business went up in flames earlier. Looks like it's either rekindled or somehow fire has made its way to the roof of the building.
12
it looks like that roof it could collapse any moment.
500,000
Well, not only that, but they just don't have the assets to get to the roof. They don't have enough personnel
cops in the
to
city
get
of LA.
a ladder truck and a crew to the roof safely, apparently.
That is
what I'm being told. So a very, very tough situation. You're looking at a business that may very well just go up in flames, and that's not to say nothing of the neighboring businesses that are exposed here.
Yeah, I was just going to say, this is a threat to the businesses that share a wall with this place, right? I mean, that are right next door.
Yes, indeed. In fact, it looks like there's a skirmish line with a crowd nearby. So it looks like this was freshly looted, or maybe an arsonist set the fire. But you can see there is a line of LAPD units near the top right-hand corner of the screen. Look at that. What is that? That might be, that's a group of officers, or that's a group of LA County Sheriff's unit. That's a group of LA County Sheriff's deputies that are pulling up on Spalding.
I mean,
and they may assist the LAPD with this skirmish line.
You go there and it seems
on the right-hand side of your screen. Apparently, something has
like
broken out. Look, more fireworks
Nebraska.
coming from the corner there. So this is likely the group that's associated with this fire. And LAPD now standing between them
But it's
and that
nothing like
other
places
fire
like this.
across the street from the Urban Outfitters. Melrose is devolving.
I know what you mean,
much
though.
the way
Concrete jungle, man.
Fairfax
it just
has
doesn't even
earlier this
feel
evening.
real.
And these
It
cars are
feels
having
like-
to make a
feels
U-turn
like
there.
you're
It
in a
looks like
movie or something,
there's
it's a
a
set.
little bit of craziness there happening.
Or a green screen.
At least the
We
engine
don't see
is...
the numbers. I should say that we don't see the numbers that we saw earlier. So it almost appears as the night goes on, while we have lots of troublemakers out there, they seem to be
It's not even about the
off, especially once
protests
they get
anymore.
away
Did you see
with
that
the
guy on
goods
the
that they've been able to
camera,
make off with and pack their car.
He didn't give a
Some of them may
shit.
just be going home. But
He doesn't
the
even
crowds
know
that I'm seeing
George
are not nearly
Floyd's
as dense
name.
as what we've been seeing.
He's just there
much more,
for some free shit.
much more
That's what it comes down
It's really
to.
an indicator, too. It doesn't take a lot of people to cause a lot of mayhem.
El Paso.
You know, if you've got little
especially when you're
scattered...
talking about fire,
Citywide,
right?
That's the
20
problem.
minutes.
Yeah, I mean,
Hey,
that's a terrible
my family's from Houston,
omen,
and it's like
considering that the fire department is in this
60-mile
situation. They're walking a tightrope
traffic
tonight, trying to
coagulated
tackle all of these 911 calls.
drive from
Not to mention, as you mentioned earlier,
east to west.
people are having, there's medical calls coming in and everything else going on in the world, and it's just it's an insurmountable task.
Certainly is. At least we have the fire engines on site now, although that building does look like it's going to be a complete loss. It's been burning for quite some time.
Sorry, Ellen, I missed that. I
That's okay.
apologize.
No, we were just commenting on at least the fire engines are there now.
Yeah,
and,
they're back.
Yeah, and hopefully can keep that fire from spreading to different businesses.
Yeah, let me check out my maps, too, and what about the jurisdiction.
Hopefully, this is
Southern Cali felt like that.
7724
Okay.
Melrose is going to be the address here.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Okay, I'm trying to look up some things here and get a sense of, you know, the jurisdictional kind of boundaries and where we are, because that might explain why the sheriff showed up, or it could be a mutual aid thing. This is Melrose. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. This would be...
It's Melrose and Spalding.
Yeah, which I think would put us technically in West Hollywood. No, it's LA City. We're still in the Fairfax district.
I see,
adjacent. Yeah. We're West Hollywood adjacent. If you're not familiar, for those of us that may not be familiar with the jurisdictions, West Hollywood is governed by the LA County Sheriff's Department. All the surrounding area is all part of the city of LA, technically, and guarded by the Los Angeles Police Department. But on a night like tonight, those boundaries are practically blurred, if not invisible. Because everybody's just trying to help out wherever they can. And even with the help of Orange County agencies now making their way into the Los Angeles area.
Yeah, we're not seeing any fires in the street like we were earlier today. And we'll have to check in with Leanne and see how, well, I take that back. In Leanne's shot that we'll show you in a bit, there is a little fire behind her, but let's see.
Unfortunately, my concern is that if the fire was able to make its way to the
what
roof,
else
the
is
question is,
going
did
on?
somebody climb on the roof
Let's
and
see,
set that fire, or is there a raging fire inside the building
Mm-hmm.
that has made its way into the attic or to the roof of the building? Because now you can see a lot of smoke coming from the front.
it's
So
right here.
that we may be looking at a building that's just completely consumed by flames at this point. And you've got that sheriff's unit that we saw pulling up a little bit ago. It appears they are getting ready to help the fire department. But that's.
And we're going to take stream down. Thank you all for joining me again. This one last words.
Minneapolis.
On this one right here, we might be back up in a little bit. Check out our website, unicornride.ninja. We have a brand new video to show you all with.
But I've been following Unicorn
unfortunate
for a while
things. More evidence that shows that other officers, besides Derek Chauvin, were also very involved in the killing of George Floyd. Check it out at our website, unicornride.ninja.
This is where I'm from. This is where I'm from, Omaha. See what's going on in Omaha. See where they're at. They're downtown now. They were up like midtown. But now they're all the way downtown. Oh, that's the federal courthouse building right down there. I just heard a window break. It's crazy, man. It's everywhere. It is everywhere. You have to hear that guy. We're calling in the National Guard. Keep the folk out of the road. I heard another. Oh shit. Bro, it's in the smack dab middle of the United States. Right in the middle. The furthest from any ocean possible. That's the federal courthouse building is right over there, and I've been there. You want to see? I'll show you. Dylan Patterson. Yeah, that's me. But I did 3 years in federal prison. Going the wrong way. Oh, he's in a parking spot. Terrible double park. Just can't believe this shit. It just blows my mind. I just feel like it's not even a protest anymore. Did 2 for weed in El Paso in the Hey, no way, bro. Where'd you do your time at? Look at these fools. You guys smoke? Tripping. It's not even a. Oh, did he? He ended the stream, bro. What a pussy. Oh, I don't know what the hell happened. Oh shit. Oh, it's just an empty ass parking. Oh, nice. I was up in Sandstone, Minnesota, actually, and it was a low too. Maybe it was no, it was not. A lot of weirdos in that joint. Tell you what. Is this one live?
They're calling National Guard.
They're breaking everything.
What is happening? The monsters.
It's an army base in Fort Bliss. Oh, that's why they took it federal. Because we met a lot of those guys. I just hear glass shattering. I have to say something. This is my brother. Yeah, I was too. I didn't go to the camp because my points was too high because I was so young at the time. The younger you are, the higher your points are. I guess they think you're more liable. My brother was a co-defendant on my case. We had the biggest hill distribution case in the United States. We were, I don't want to get too far into it, but basically we were flying down to Florida and back, distributing Oxycontin, but yeah, oh yeah. See, my brother, he's 38, and he went to a camp, but I didn't get to go to a camp because I was too young, I guess. But it was fucking scary, bro. It was fucking scary. I watched the guy, it ended. What's this at? But I watched the guy before me that got sentenced. Got like 33 years, man, and I was like next. I was next in line, dude. I don't even know where this is. Portland. What's going on in Portland? How old are you? Were you old enough to see the Rodney King shit? Cause this is the first big shit I've ever seen like this. I'm 31, and as far as I can remember, I've never seen anything this big. Cops are fucking dirty, man. I'm gonna ask my brother. Cops are dirty.
And you know, a base one of these Explorers, I think,
Hold
is
on,
around
I'm gonna use the restroom real
$30,000,
quick.
and there's
Don't go
modifications
nowhere,
to the
please.
suspension, and they got to
I'm
put the
enjoying,
radios and all the mounts in there,
chatting
and all
with
the
you,
modifications.
and
So it's
I was
the
in
financial
elementary
loss
school when
to the
Rodney
city
King
of LA
happened.
losing that many police
Oh,
cars
nice,
is
man.
substantial. The overtime that is
remember
being
it at
paid
all?
to all these officers and firefighters is substantial. The human toll, of course, as
just
people
now
are injured. A number of
figure
police
out how
officers have
cops
been
are
injured
pricks. Right?
in this.
We've been saying that
civilians
since
injured
the
as well, we
90s.
presume, although we haven't seen that yet. People are being hit, as you see here, by
All right,
pepper
I'm
rounds,
gonna use the
by
restroom real quick. I'll be right back.
rubber bullets. Just the cost so far has been pretty difficult.
Yeah,
Pretty difficult
this is,
to deal with.
I'm sorry, what did you say, producer, about the... Oh, okay, no, this is the scene where people were using garbage bins as body shields against these police officers that you see there on that, on the board runner there on that car.
Yeah.
And watch as these people take these bins, and it's near Studio City, I'm sorry, gosh, my brain is city fried.
CBS TV City. Well, you've only been on the air for 7 hours straight.
CBS Television City, and they are going to smash the gates. They approach the gates of it, and they use these. I hope we have that video.
Yeah, there it is. There it is.
Yeah, there we go. So if you keep watching, yep, there you go. And they'll succeed eventually, and there is a security guard there who had to pull his gun and tell them to back away. But they were trying to make a run for it. There you see the security guard there, and he has his gun drawn. And they say, okay, I'm leaving. However, it doesn't end there because the gates are closed, and you'll see what happens again. And a kid got trapped between a trash bin and the gate.
Yeah, you're watching this play out, and this the reason this was one of the reasons maybe they wanted to get in is that this was being used as a staging area in that area by the police department. There are a bunch of police cars back in that parking lot
So
behind this
watch
gate.
This kid right here is about to get it. And, you know, and then shortly after that, a lot of LAPD came walking out of there since that was their staging center there. But just a lot of scenes like that today that seem surreal.
An attack that failed, an attack on police there that failed, clearly acts of violence there that are part of this that have been going on now for the better part of, about 9 hours, I guess, since this began. Most of the beginning part of it, as you have mentioned, was peaceful. But then the crowd thinned, the crowd diminished, and what was left behind are people who are doing harm.
The PD had to resort to using the rubber bullets, non-lethal bullets, to just smash the ground, like you said, right in front of their legs, so at least it would just bounce up and hit their legs, enough to cause injury, not to cause injury, but to hurt, sting, and to get that crowd dispersed. Also had to use their batons as well on the crowd.
Yeah, and those crowds, now the crowds are pretty much gone. What you have now are roving bands of people going from place to place, either lighting fires or looting stores or attacking police, and as we saw in downtown LA, attacking reporters. And so it's a difficult night. It is a long night. Again, looking at that building now on Melrose and Spalding, this is a building that for the second time tonight, firefighters have responded to. They put the fire out earlier, or thought they had to move on because they are spread so thin, move on to another location. And now they're back because the fire flared up. And now they're putting it out yet again. So, and this was a building that we understand was vacant.
And they're really trying to keep those flames from going to that Starbucks right next door. You can see they're hosing in between the two buildings. Because you can see a bit of flames in between there. So hopefully they can keep it just contained to that vacant building.
Oh yeah, they are spraying right in between there.
They just have a better reason to freak out.
And again, they've been under police escort because they're finding, I guess, that they're getting attacked or at risk of attack, at least, as these firefighters respond to the various buildings. And so they are being escorted in by law enforcement officers to just get in and do their jobs.
There's a big difference.
All right, who do we have right now that we can get to?
Peaceful protesting over the murder of Floyd.
Okay, they're going to tell us in our area in a minute. But this, in a city of 4 million people, a police force of 9,000. That's basically one officer for every 433 people in the city of LA. And on a normal day, that would be enough.
Really
tonight,
deeply
the per capita, that is really
care
low.
about the situation.
Yeah, I wonder.
Get their message
we were
across.
talking about the National Guard. Some 1,000 National Guard troops are on their way here, and they should be here by midnight.
Just here to
so
go in the
we're not
Gucci
sure
store.
where they're going to be coming in from. What area? So we're going to try to find that out and see if we can get a shot of those vehicles.
Look at this clip
coming
I sent my brother. This guy
is
at the
something
Target.
that we saw last in 1992.
He's running out with a clothes rack.
And before that, 1965. In 1992,
He's out of there, bro.
The post-Rodney King riots. That was when 4 LA police officers
whole
were
fucking rack
acquitted
of
the beating of Rodney King. Again, video, of course, played a part in that. That was a
Crazy.
videotaped police beating. And yes, it was actual tape back then, 1992.
I have friends.
George Holiday was the man who shot the video out of his apartment in Lakeview Terrace.
I have friends who are cops.
And Rodney King was pulled over after a pursuit in the Lakeview Terrace area. And George Holiday looked out his window, saw what was going on, and shot it with his video camera, and it became literally a historic event that led to another historic and tragic event.
We have our Carlos Granda on the ground, and we're going to check in with him right now and see what is happening where he is. Carlos?
What's Carlos
we're in Beverly Hills, and here things certainly a lot more calm than what's going on over in the Fairfax area. Behind me, you can see, there you see the Beverly Hills Police, also some sheriffs. They're blocking the streets here. We're at Santa Monica and Beverly Drive, but the sheriffs are also, and the police are on the other corner, which is Rodeo Drive and Santa Monica.
They don't want them to go down Rodeo.
This, of course, there was an incident of looting earlier in the afternoon, so they came here to block all the streets with all the high-end stores. As you can imagine, earlier there was a huge crowd here. They were setting off firecrackers, screaming at the police. But when the curfew time hit, that's when the police asked people to leave. A sheriff's helicopter was overhead. We could hear it alerting the crowd, but people did not leave. And that's when we heard a pop, and you could see the huge cloud of tear gas. The crowd started running in our direction. The tear gas moved quickly, and it was on us in seconds. It hit my photographer, Rich Cannell, and I as we were standing here, and the crowd came at us. We just got hit by tear gas. We just got hit by tear gas. You can see it over there.
Move, motherfucker.
It happened at Rodeo Drive and Santa Monica.
Get out of the way.
Oh, I got to stop because I can barely, I can't even keep my eyes open. I'm sorry if I sound a little bit, it's just that my eyes are watering and I can barely breathe.
Oh my God.
Wow, and it's just hitting us now, so we're waiting to see what happens. Okay, back live. Here you can see a very different story from that just a few hours ago. Here you can see now there's no people here. There's just us and the police. There's a few stragglers here and there, but again, there is a curfew in effect, so they're not supposed to be here, and they do risk being arrested. But again, certainly things have calmed down here. A very different story from what's going on over in the Fairfax area. Reporting live from Beverly Hills, I'm Carlos Granda, ABC 7 Eyewitness News. Back to you.
Yeah, Carlos, for those of us who have not been tear gassed, myself among them, how does it feel? How did it feel?
Felt like shit, bro.
At the moment, I mean, this has happened before. It happened to me in Miami at another event. But you try to talk, but you feel your throat almost getting that you can't speak, you can't breathe, it just starts like tightening up on you, and you start tearing. Your nose, I mean, the mucus just starts pouring out. It's like you just start draining, and there's nothing you can do to stop it, and you just start coughing. And we got into the truck, I got some water, and we just closed the windows, recirculated the air, and that way we tried to, it took us about 15 or 20 minutes before we actually could feel a little bit okay. But, you know, yeah, it's just everything. You're just tearing up, coughing, you just cannot stop.
Arrested the other day.
Something you don't want to experience again.
That one guy getting arrested.
Great job.
I'd rather not.
The guy that owned the pawn shop?
Carlos's first rodeo. He has been tear gassed in Miami as well. Carlos, thank you for that report. But he's still on the job. He's still doing it. And for those of us who think that this is some kind of a game for reporters, it's not. It's not. It's anything but. People's safety is at risk, and
that's for
they're
sure.
doing their job anyway.
Yeah.
Chris Christie, is this still?
Which it shouldn't be like.
Oh, that's
that.
not Chris Christie. This is
the media. Is the media? They're
right,
just like
trying
the
to figure out
guys in
where
the
this
back.
is.
Like,
Is this the same?
Oh, that's the same building.
fire. So this is that vacant building that they're
desperately
desperately trying to put out so it does not go into the other businesses surrounding it.
It flared up again.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Your
5 minutes
face
ago,
was
it was
on
almost
camera when
completely
you were
dark. There were
throwing
no
a
flames,
brick
and
through a
it's
window.
back flared up again. Maybe there's a gas main.
You wonder what's in there.
I didn't see that.
That's
It was
causing
a
this,
reporter.
but you know, this is a troublesome spot.
He got arrested?
And it's keeping firefighters here tied down when there are so many other places that need to be looked at and dealt with. So it's unfortunate there is a skirmish line around it, and they're basically there to guard these firefighters as they continue to put the fire out.
Sure. Yeah, that. You know, we're going to bring in Bruce Thomas, our law enforcement expert. And Bruce, you've been, I'm sure, glued all day long to what's happening. And what are your thoughts on what you're seeing?
Bruce, are you there? Bruce was with me last night covering, helping me cover this. I was asking him some questions about how police are dealing with it, specifically the tactics that they use. Bruce he was there in 1992. He's been there for other situations like the May Day riot in MacArthur Park, the way the LAPD was really roundly criticized on that.
How about air?
He's a veteran of a different.
We have that too. Clear, got somewhere else too.
Black Lives Matter. What's going down in Omaha? Tear gas, hot.
Pushing 541 is at 15th and Farnham. If we can get some gas on 18th,
NCNS
just stand the phone, we can get this crowd out of here.
What type of video games do you play? This is crazy.
Schaefer Christensen. Schaefer Christensen, can you guys push north from location as well? Our van's about full. Is there a second arrest van that can come to our location?
YouTube is not receiving.
We're working on release right now from 16th and Jackson.
Smooth streaming.
Copy, we're trying to push north. Is that what you were saying? I didn't copy that.
Experiencing any
Yeah, we were blocking traffic. We're working on release, and then we'll head over there in about 2 minutes.
I don't know why it's
300 and Sergeant Ricker.
Hey, y'all, that motherfucker got a wire on.
Halo.
Ricker.
Halo's my jam. I'm waiting for the newest one.
You got a couple guys that can really use
grind it.
a transport van so they can do transports. So that's clear. Where's the van?
Oh, my stream's healthy again.
16th and Jackson.
I don't know what happened there. Anyway.
That's clear. We'll make it over there. We're at 14th and Farnham now.
Let me go to the...
Clear, thank you.
Eventually, we're going to need somebody to
hold on this DGX Elma at 16th and Douglas.
They're listening to
Hold on,
this.
group, let's move up to Douglas.
Oh,
Get a group to hold this line at Douglas.
Well, hello's my jam.
Collins, Britonia, do you have one cruiser that can take our spot at 16 in Douglas? We've got traffic blocked off here, so they don't look around. We may have to leave soon.
I just don't play that tonight. As weird as that sounds, but I'm actually pretty decent at it.
I've got cruiser 712 en route to 16 in Douglas.
I used to play competitively.
Crowd at 18th and Douglas on the north side of Douglas. You guys are approaching, and there's some to your west as well. Sugar Andrews, do you want us to push up to Dodge Street? We're mid-block on 17th. Let's hold it Douglas for now. I want to make sure they're not going to go west and come back around on Farnham from 19th. Right.
God damn!
We got two coming out the wrong way on 14th and Douglas. Let them out. Give me a location. Plus the deal with vehicular traffic. Okay, we're talking about the crowd on Douglas moving eastbound from 18th. Looks like that's what you're referring to. We got about, I don't know, 15 to 20 on the north side of Douglas. Let me know if there's any larger crowds.
My brother is currently in Houston. Houston started popping off down there.
There's looking at a pretty large crowd, 17th at Douglas, north side, maybe 60 to 70 people at the corners.
Crazy. And,
before I
got locked up, I went to a rehab. It was more like
on the north side, kind of spread out from 18th all the way down towards the 17th, or I'm sorry, 19th to 18th. Just to the west of 18th on the south side, there's a...
So, before I got locked up, I went to an inpatient, outpatient treatment.
Appears to be a
was on
large crowd. Actually, those are awesome. So they're just walking past there. We'll move ahead a little bit to the down Douglas Street, I think bigger. Actually, you do have a pretty good group congregating right on the northeast corner of 17th and Douglas. Turn off, yes. Texas Mobile.
Cruiser 781 and 741 have, or 741 have air tanks.
Facts. They're
I'm in 741. I was just advised that the tank is
when I
empty
went to
now.
treatment, which was
Officer
basically
Jaworski
like
in
send me to
781
a
is near
homeless
tank.
shelter. I went here.
State Patrol aircraft's going to vacate the area for fuel.
Wrong spot.
Brad, this is Bill Harris. Aircraft. We're at 15, so it sounds like the air tank is now empty.
This is Tom Lunt. Did anyone grab the air tank out of the garage in Central? There's a spare yellow air tank down there.
Is a straight up homeless shelter.
This is Smith. I'll go grab it in 215 to Farnham.
It's here. It's in the guard shack. I'll have it ready.
Over here. But this is where I stay.
Yeah, if you're able to, do you want to
This is a big ass homeless shelter.
I cannot. It's gridlock back that way. You can walk up the block to 15th if you want to stay with me.
But I lived over here in this building, which was like the inpatient, outpatient treatment center.
That launcher I gave you needs a refill. It's only at 1,500 PSI. When you get a chance, fill it up.
I don't know. We lived over here.
They shut shit down, man.
Guys right
They shut shit
now that
down.
are protesting.
Down there, man. Ain't no traffic coming.
Cruiser going to 19th and Douglas to block traffic so we can push Douglas Street and get the crowd north of Douglas. Can I get westbound traffic stopped, please, on Douglas?
You need to stop from where? What cross street? 19th?
This is where
Yeah, have them block it wherever it's safe for RDF.
Just had their back windshield shattered. 17th and Douglas.
Somebody shattered a cop's back window.
Where do you need the air tank for the pepper ball?
Yeah, this is basically
Tom
where they
Lunt,
are.
Command 50. I'd bring it
A little
to
bit
15th
further
and
this
Farnham.
way.
That's where most of RDF is, and all their launchers are depleted.
But these are the streets that
Clear.
that
I'm going to
they're
have a
going
couple
up and
officers
down
bring
right
it to you.
now.
We need to block up traffic northbound on 16th from Dodge. We keep getting circled by these
16th.
cars.
See, that's what street we was on.
San Drew got a Molotov cocktail at 1-7 and Harney.
15th, but you know. Molotov cocktail? Bro, that sounds delicious.
And the Mercedes.
You have to believe it's stage on this.
Disregard on that. 721. Exit 1613 Farm Street for a difficult breathing call.
Sergeant Collins, get that launcher figured out? I can check to see if we got it. I believe we do.
That's a launcher in there. We just need to get something to launch in it. President Joey, are you coming to 15th Street?
Sweating.
Andrews facilities, you got that traffic shut off?
Sweating.
Where?
Been out there all day.
Andrews to Surfy SWAT. You want to push north of Douglas, please? Let's take Douglas Street. We're going to take
Facts. Look at this guy.
17th and Douglas, push it north. You guys think 18th? Push them through that courthouse, please. Surfy SWAT clear.
He's backing up. He don't want no
Precinct 3,
smoke.
can you direct what officers need to go to what locations to block off Douglas
Oh,
and
shit,
16th
they
so we're not
running.
getting recircled around, please?
What year did Rodney King happen? I want to know now.
User behind 781 at 16th and Douglas.
Ramos. Go for Ramos.
91.
Are you up yet? We're in front of headquarters. Come back down real quick. Clear now.
So, bro, I was only like 2 years old.
Car 7 to Sergeant Bianchi. Go ahead for Bianchi. Can he get to the area 16th and Douglas with all the gas he's got? We're going to load him up in Merv and go mobile. Well, I'll get you an answer here in a second. Hey, Tom Kurt's got the launchable stuff. We'll have to get a hold of him. I'm probably about 10 blocks from where he's at, even if he's back.
That's the First National Bank building right there.
That's clear. When he gets back, I need him to hook up with Sergeant Collins and Merv and get them the munitions, or he can join them, and we're going to have Merv go mobile and deploy where needed. Yeah, I think Jeremy's trying to track him down right now. Yeah, we're not getting an answer.
Adrian!
Andrews and Trousky, can you get any of those cars from 19th and Florida down to 17th and Dodge and 18th and Dodge?
I've been on the roof of that building.
You need 2 cruisers at 17th and 18th and Dodge. Sweet. Clear. Where's the arrest van at?
Dirt bike.
What arrest van?
Grand Theft Auto style.
Also, we have 2 code 2s at 17 and Hardy. Where should we take them?
I hope going straight.
Transport. Well, we're going to go to
turn right,
get those code 2s. We're going to need someone else to block traffic at 16th and Jackson. We're going to leave now.
Wild. Got the Ninja 600.
Disregard, looks like you're getting them north.
We need an arrest van, 17th and Hardy.
Wow, they dipping.
Hardy.
Where are they going?
Howard. 1 command 30. Command 30, I've got a contingent of about 30 officers looking for work at 1 floor in Farnham. Do you have a large disturbance anywhere?
Andrews to Sharpie SWAT. Where'd you guys end up? We're about to move to the federal courthouse.
The Fed House.
There's somebody that walked up to the front doors of that courthouse on the west side and never came back, and somebody wants to check that out.
The Fed Courthouse.
Clear. I'll check the door.
Been there a few times.
We also need to do something about this traffic that they keep circling around on Dodge. They're just circling around and coming back through.
Yo, this guy needs to get like a stabilizer.
Go ahead. We're stopped at 17th and Dodge, 114 West. They're moving. There's a couple of parties just throwing things in the building, possibly a little bit of graffiti. Just north of the three entrances of the parking garage on the east side, just north of Dodge. Other than that, they kind of split up when they hit 18th, but I'd say the majority are kind of working westbound.
So if you're just joining the stream, my name's Dylan.
Clear.
From Fremont, Nebraska.
Watch our traffic. Stop all
This
traffic.
is taking place in Omaha, Nebraska, like 20 miles from where I live. And we're just watching.
From 33, I just got a rock thrown through my window at 16th and Dodge.
Yeah, you need to go to 16th and Dodge, buddy. You're in the wrong spot. The Woodman, and that's the First National Bank building. That other tall building. There's two tall buildings in Omaha.
We got two parties on the west side of 18th Street, about mid-block. Got to start a dumpster fire or some type of container fire.
Copy that. Are there any other large crowds in the area?
Give me a couple seconds to check. We're been concentrating on this large group here that's moving on. Street about 18th now. We'll check. You actually have about a quarter of that group from 18th and Dodge now working their way northbound on 18th from Dodge.
I heard the North Precinct.
Plan 40, we have eyes on them. They are actively throwing rocks at us. We did not see the dumpster fire, but this is probably one of the more hostile groups we've encountered. Can we get some more personnel just north of the federal courthouse on 18th Street? We're going to hold on the south side of Dodge until we get some more personnel here. I'll have personnel for you in 2 minutes.
Oh shit. He's taking. What do you think that pallet is? Tinder for the fire. Holy. What are they lighting up? Look at all those pallets.
Andrew's still go. You still got that pepper ball launcher?
Going up in flames.
I hate people. I hate people so bad. Y'all doing too much.
Leave that shit alone. Oh, that
if you're on Dodge, I'm right to your east.
There's pallets underneath it.
Go back to that parking lot, please.
They want them pallets underneath it. Yeah, 3K watching. This guy's 13K watching. He's a really popular guy that listens to the scanner and posts. Sometimes really informative, sometimes really fun stuff that he hears on the scanner. And I'm rebroadcasting it, which I hope is not against TOS, but I don't really care. And if it is against TOS, this is a completely non-profit thing that I'm doing, if that makes sense. Oh, he's got the fire extinguisher. He's ready. He's ready to save some buildings. What are you doing in there? What are you doing in that dumpster? Hey.
Advising you, we're getting reports shots fired about 25th and Douglas. Call actually here. 7 to 10 shots outside. Seeing them attempt to start the dumpster on fire right in front of St. Mary's Cathedral right now. There's a group of 4 individuals attempting to light that on fire at this time.
more local stuff, I just go to Facebook because I'm more with local organizations on Facebook, I guess. YouTube's more full spectrum. I feel like they're going to do something crazy.
Sam Southeast Mobile Command again.
Omaha is nuts.
We're by St. Mary's Cathedral, about 18th and Capitol. Clear. You want us to hold here at this group? We got about 25 of us. You want us to continue to hold here at 19th and Douglas? Push north to Capitol if you can. To supplement you, let us know when you are starting to go west. All right, we're almost there. We'll let you know.
And we got to ask, is it 13th again?
Friend of woman, we're going west on Capitol Avenue. Just 10-8-1, is there a large crowd east of 16th and Dodge, 17th and Dodge? Pedestrian traffic?
Oh.
I'll fly down there and check. The larger crowd that came from Capitol is now moved north of Capitol and to overtake the street, and then also the large open field there between 16th and 17th. So I'll check 15th and Dodge.
Yeah, looks like a larger crowd just for the first time. We're ready to move west. Woman and Mitchell, go ahead and start moving. We'll start moving west. So you're headed west.
And we have a decent-sized crowd just to the east of 16th on Dodge.
Southeast of Mobile Command. Security guards are at the First National Bank on 17th and Dodge, and the crowds are around. They're throwing fireworks at them.
Throwing fireworks at them.
Stay 4 miles. On the northwest corner of 16th and Harney. Friend of woman, we got about 40 people at 17th and Davenport moving north and then east. 3 Command 10, I've got some air coming from Northwest Assembly. Tell me where to get it. Hey, we got gang and from RDF at 17th and Dodge standing by. Just let us know if
There's
it's
an
going.
airport right near there.
Clear. I'll have them switch over and advise once they get closer. We might need to address this crowd in front of First National. They're throwing rocks and fireworks at us.
Oh, shit.
Thursday, 17th and Dodge. You can start letting them go northbound. Northbound on 17th. We'll push them north to Davenport.
Better head over to First
RDF,
National,
just hold
buddy.
at 18th. Just hold at 18th. Edward 1 to King 90. Are you pushing north on 19th Street? Negative. We've been waiting on the word. We're still at 19th and Douglas. You want to start pushing north? Yeah, push north to Capitol. You got a group on the corner up there. They need to go north. Clear. We'll be moving here in a second. RDF to align formation across 18th Street. We're going to move up to 19th Street, then we're going to go north. We got 30 officers with fresh pepper balls at 1-6 in Florida. Okay, woman, we're going to head north on 17th towards Davenport. Clear. You want to start 19th and then go north, or 18th go north?
Yeah, we got people on 16th and Douglas. They're throwing ground balloons, flowers.
We're at 17th and Douglas looking for work.
It's getting pretty scary.
Sergeant Martin, are you 88? The First National, you need more assistance? Well, we're 88 down here, but somebody might want to go to 16th and Dodge. There's a larger crowd down there. Been throwing rocks at us. We're holding 17th. Which way do you need the crowd? It wants to do about flips. Probably want to push them east, because otherwise you're going to push them into the DoubleTree. Or you can push them west to 17th, and we can push them north. George has a bunch of the groups that we've chased eastbound down to about 11th and Dodge. We're just trying to circle around to the south. We're going to see if we can just keep on pushing them. What does 19th Street look like if we moved up to 19th and Dodge? That's what's going. To Command 5, there is a silver SUV. There's a black male driving it in a gray hoodie. He's throwing fireworks from the car and getting fireworks out of the car. It's a four-door silver SUV. I can't tell the make or model or plate.
Green light. Back in. Alright.
Clear to Capitol. We're going to have a straggler here and there. Looks like the northeast corner of 19th and Capitol. You have a group of about 20, 25. And just to the east of there, a group of about 10.
Clear. I think there's a group on 19th and Dodge right now moving north. Let us know where else that we may be needed.
Yeah, if I got our guys 19th and Dodge on the northeast corner, they just have a view kind of between Dodge and Capitol, and then another group up at on the northeast corner of Capitol.
Clear. Command 1 to anybody else that needs RDF. We have 3 spots up there.
I mean, they eventually gotta like
Car 7.
Communicate
if we put a couple,
with each other.
We put some RDF at 16th and Dodge.
Okay,
you have the group that we were trying to capture over here in Capitol. Walking north on,
there's no
south on
communication.
16th, back towards Dodge.
Tom 1 to RDF. I have an officer in my car that has a bunch of gas. Where can I sync up with you? I'm going to transport him up to you.
We're at 19th and Dodge right now.
I'm clear.
3 Command 10. I have about 10 more units heading downtown headquarters.
We'll be back.
Able 1, you still up?
Yep, you got a large group working eastbound on the south side of Capitol, 16th head to 15th.
I think that's the group that used to be. That's a group to keep an eye on.
That's clear.
Team 90 should be pushing north on 19th towards Capitol. I'm at 17 in Capitol. Where do you need us? We have gas.
this officer with gas. Where can I...
Sure. On the westmost entrance, there on Capitol, on the south side. I think it's the Doubletree / First National Bank parking garage.
Bianchi to Schaefer, we have some launchable CS now. Where do you want us? Schaefer to Collins. Can you meet up with Bianchi? He's got some launchable. Yeah, Dave, why don't you meet us at 170 in Capitol? We'll hook up with you and get a grenadier in here.
Just be advised that virtually the entire group just went into the parking garage there, at just to the west of 15th and Capitol.
Edward, when we have a large group heading towards the parking garage, 18th and Capitol.
Precinct 3, I've got 8 officers coming to you at 16th and Dodge now.
Christensen to Precinct 3.
Go ahead.
I don't know if we have any UPV officers down here that can get mounted in vehicles, but as far as RDF goes, we're having a hard time keeping up with the very similar traffic we are. If you get officers mobile,
Clear northwest is en route with 8 as well, and they'll be in cruisers as soon as they hit on scene. All that way.
Hello.
Daddy, I'm home.
I'm definitely not your father.
We only have an hour, so let's make it worth it.
An hour till dinner? What do you mean?
I've been so bad.
What did you do?
Really bad, Daddy.
Oh my goodness gracious, what? Like, what could be that bad? Did you hurt an individual?
How are you gonna punish me, Daddy?
Well, actually, your father should probably hear about this. Is it Greg from across the street? Like, who is your father?
I know you're just playing hard to get. I know how you could punish me.
Huh? I'm not going to. Oh! Okay. What kind of pom-pom is that? You're one of them cheerleaders? Huh? Is that your extracurricular activity? I think it's such a good thing to have.
Sorry about that. That's some bullshit.
This isn't some spontaneous eruption of violence and protest and mayhem. There was a precipitating event that led to this, and that event, among others, was the death of George Floyd in Minneapolis. He was killed by a police officer who has now been accused of murder. That officer had his knee on Floyd's neck. Floyd went to a liquor store and bought some cigarettes with a $20 bill that turned out to be counterfeit. It is unknown whether he knew at the time it was or not, but the person in the store did what the store manager later explained was store policy, was he called police, and they've done it before where it doesn't end up in anything, and just, but in this case it did. The police report initially said that Floyd resisted arrest and that they had to use force to subdue him. There was no mention of this, the knee to his neck that lasted 8 minutes and 21 seconds. There was no mention in the police report of his cries for help, of his cries of pain, of his cries to allow him to breathe, and of his last words calling his mother's name before he died. So that police report was, at the very least, inaccurate and misleading, and what was recorded there was has been accused by the DA's office there in that county in Minneapolis as a homicide, as a murder. And there are 3 other officers who were involved in that people are still very upset did not get charged and have not been charged as of yet, although the investigation in Minneapolis is ongoing. Air 7 heading toward downtown. We're going to try to establish if or where the big emergencies are. And in the meantime, there's Leanne Suter.
Mark, let me show you a look of what we're talking about, damage. We just got LAPD allowed us in, and take a look. We're on Fairfax here. They just turned off the lights here on this business. This is, you can see the officers going inside, checking to see what is in. This is a hair salon that everything has been trashed inside. The windows completely shattered here, the front door, the front entrance. It's just business after business. We walk across the street. Here's another one right across the way. Everything just shattered inside. You can see the inside of the business has been completely tagged with graffiti. You can see somebody threw an electric scooter, it appears, through the window here, and that's how they were able to smash it. Everything inside, and if there's any merchandise left, they took it all. Virtually everything taken outside of this store here. You just see hangers left behind, and yeah, all of the graffiti on the store, all the broken glass left behind by this. There was both sides of the street, pretty much, not every business, but quite a few along here have been shattered. This one had the window shattered behind the metal gate there. Another one, they pulled up the gate to see here. I'm gonna see if I can see. Were you guys in here when this was going down? Yeah. Can we talk to you about that? Is it your business? Yeah. Can we talk to you a little bit about did you guys escape the damage or did you get hit?
Yeah, no, we escaped the damage, for sure.
You guys did?
Yeah.
What was it like to kind of just watch this and kind of see all these stores that were hit?
It was just sad. It was just, more sad just to see all these kids who were, most of them peacefully protesting, just get arrested, and, business comes secondary to life. And, this is not what we're used to seeing on Fairfax, obviously. So. And
there's so many. I see it seems business after business that has been damaged along here, quite a few.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's just from everything on Fairfax is damaged in some way, shape, or form. So. And
I know you have a lot of friends, obviously fellow business folks along here. Hate to see what they have suffered. I mean, you guys have been shut for so long. You were finally able, this is the first weekend you were supposed to be open for a lot of these stores.
Yeah. It's, again, it's hard to think of it in that context when, we see what's happening everywhere. And, like I said, business is secondary to life, and everyone's lives are what's most important. And, these businesses, they'll come back. They'll figure it out. The businesses will figure it out, but not every person will, unfortunately.
I get the sense, obviously, supporting why they're protesting and what they're angry over. Just hard to see.
It's hard to see. It's hard to see everything that's going on in the world. At the end of the day, it's hard to see everything that's going on in the world, and how it's not just our community; it's everywhere. So, unfortunately, this is indicative to the state of the world right now. Coronavirus or no coronavirus. This was here before coronavirus. So, yeah.
It was hard. I see you shaking your head over there too. Was it hard? Was it just hard to watch this as it was unfolding?
Yeah, definitely. It was hard to watch. It was scary, but I understand, and we're very supportive of everything that's going on.
Scary is right. So. Welcome to the stream,
you guys have been
everyone.
stuck. So they were at work here. You guys were working when this kind of happened? They were at work
chat.
And you got caught by this. When it first started with the protesters coming down, can you describe the scene and how it unfolded for you guys?
Just let me know.
Well, it was just, it was pretty amazing to watch it all unfold. And then it got very intense. And then we were deciding that we needed to stay here, keep an eye on everything, make sure that nothing happens here. So, yeah, very intense though.
And you guys were able, did any of the protesters try to get into your shop at all, or they kind of left yours alone?
They left ours alone. Yeah, we don't have clothes, we don't have any type of merchandise or anything like that in here. So I think that's one of the biggest things we had going for us there.
They were targeting, obviously, it appeared, the other stores that had things and merchandise to take.
I think so.
For you, though, difficult to see them smashing the windows and just kind of the...
Yeah, I think, it was all very difficult to watch. Yeah, but again, like, we understand it. And we're not broken up over it or anything like that. We definitely are very supportive and understand.
I appreciate it, you guys. Oh, and I didn't even catch the name of your business.
Sweet Chick.
Sweet Chick, Sweet Chick. You guys survived. They're okay. Thank you for your time, you guys. I appreciate it. But can you imagine? I can't imagine being out here watching this as it was unfolding with all of the damage out here. Very understanding, they said. They understood why the protesters were out here, but certainly this is not what they expected. You can see some folks inside this store. Oh, that's shattered inside. You can go over here. I'm going to cross the street. It appears that they smashed through all of the glass in this one. And you can just see everything cleared off the shelves. There's just literally nothing left in so many of these stores. There was a shoe store up the way, and we saw, this appears to have been a shoe store at some point. Nothing inside there. Up the street, there was a tennis shoe store or something like that, and there were just shoes everywhere. Or you can see clothes here on the street, left behind from what they were trying to take. I see the owners are inside there. They were seen here. They saying that they're good, so they were able to protect their stuff. But I can see this has just been a long night for everybody that has been out here. Go ahead, Mark.
All right, well, thank you, Leanne. This is Eyewitness News at 11 o'clock, and we are following breaking news here at 11 as we near the end of a long and very difficult day, both in Los Angeles and across the country. What began as peaceful protests following the death of George Floyd at the hands of a Minneapolis police officer have turned into violence and looting.
And here are some of the night's big headlines. Much of Southern California, including all of Los Angeles, is now under a curfew until 5:30 tomorrow morning. LA Mayor Eric Garcetti has asked Governor Gavin Newsom to mobilize the National Guard.
We are seeing multiple stores and businesses in the Fairfax district and shops at the Grove vandalized and looted. Our hours-long live team coverage picks up here with our Chris Christie, live now in Air 7 HD. Chris?
Hey there, Mark. So we have come upon Broadway and West 8th Street here that you're looking at, where there is a very large police presence after some rampant looting on this block. What appears to be happening is that there are groups of cars driving around downtown looking for easy targets and looking to load up those cars with whatever they can get their hands on. In this case, they have moved in quick. There was some street racing going on. They have shut down the block, and now they have swarmed this entire block. You can see some people being taken into custody already with their hands behind their back in handcuffs, basically, and or hand ties, excuse me. And you can see, unfortunately, I can't make out what businesses are being affected here, but there is a whole line of storefronts on the right side. That's going to be the east side of 8th Street that have been impacted here. So some rampant looting going on downtown. I can tell you the LAPD helicopter is doing circles trying to find these groups of cars. It's a lot different than the situation we were dealing with last night, which was a protest that got out of control and very aggressive. This is not that. This is people who are driving into town looking for easy targets. Where they're coming from, we don't know, but they are looking for an opportunity to get their hands on stolen goods.
Yes, certainly taking advantage of just the situation and getting what they can. We've seen looting happen all afternoon and all into the night now.
Yeah.
It's continuing. The calls are coming in fast and furious, and much like last night, every direction you look out the window from our helicopter is nothing but blue and red lights crisscrossing this city like I have never seen before.
Well, we're going to get back to you in just a little bit, Chris. But in the meantime, the curfew order only applied to downtown Los Angeles when it was first announced.
Eyewitness News reporter Amy Powell, though, live now in downtown L.A. with a look at how it's going tonight. We just saw, Amy, this apparently roving band of thieves that were going from one place to another. What are you seeing?
Mark, I have to tell you, we've seen that ourselves. In fact, at one point, our news van was parked next to some businesses. We actually saw people run up to a business and try desperately to break into the building. They were having trouble getting through the barricades outside the business, but yes, we actually saw that firsthand. A lot of people on the streets out here, many of them clearly not paying any attention to the curfews. We've also seen, though, something I've never seen before here in downtown Los Angeles. There's just been so much police activity. We've heard helicopters and sirens almost nonstop. LAPD officers armed with non-lethal weapons have been moving in, trying to disperse individuals and many of the groups of people roaming the streets of downtown after the 8 p.m. curfew. And tensions have been rising as those vandals, as I mentioned, damage buildings, breaking in and looting a number of businesses. Now, we've seen some suspects surrounded and taken into custody. But again, it has just been a massive police presence trying to control the movements of these demonstrators who have just been fanning out all over the downtown area. Of course, this all started with protests of the death of George Floyd, but has deteriorated into chaos in several parts of the Los Angeles area. And earlier, Mayor Eric Garcetti spoke to Eyewitness News after seeing a massive crowd of protesters clashing with officers in the Fairfax district. Listen in to what he said about that.
Officers and peace officers who are on the front line. And for the interest of public safety, people need to stay at home. People need to remain at home during this curfew so that we can know that folks that are out during this curfew are out to cause trouble. And it's been clear that at a very righteous moment, when people who rightfully so have not only looked at the act of insidious racism that took George Floyd's life, but the continuing structural racism that infects this country, that this is changing the conversation from the justice that is deserved to suddenly the destruction of a city that we love. There's clearly people who are out to destroy not only parts of our city, but to destroy any hope of a coalition that would bring us together to get justice for George Floyd.
Again, that curfew goes from 8 p.m. to 5:30 a.m. As you know, it was initially issued for the downtown area and then expanded citywide. And from everything we're seeing and hearing, it's going to be a very long night. Reporting live in downtown Los Angeles, Amy Powell, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Amy, thank you very much. Well, protesters and looters also were hitting the stores in Beverly Hills tonight. We saw that earlier. Eyewitness News reporter Carlos Granda has been there for much of the evening. He joins us now live. Carlos?
Hey, this guy got tear
Well, the good news
gassed.
here in Beverly Hills, things have calmed down. As a matter of fact, police just a few moments ago reopened Beverly Drive to traffic. You can see cars can now go through, but the police are still here. They're on the side streets. They've also reopened Rodeo Drive, but they're still in the area. They've been driving around, keeping a close watch on any vehicles, anyone trying to come through here. And of course, there were incidents of looting in the afternoon, and that's why police came here, blocked the area with all of the high-end stores. Now, earlier, there was a huge crowd here right across the street here in the park, and people were setting off fireworks, screaming at police, and tagging the walls of some of the businesses here. Now, when the curfew time hit, that's when the police asked people to leave. A sheriff's helicopter was overhead. We could hear it alerting the crowd. People did not leave, and that's when we heard a pop. We could see a huge cloud of tear gas. The crowd started running in our direction, and the tear gas moved quickly. It was on us in seconds. It hit my photographer, Rich Cannell, and I as we were standing here, and the crowd came right at us. We just got hit by tear gas. We just got hit by tear gas. You can see it over there. It happened at Rodeo Drive and Santa Monica. Oh, I got to stop because I can barely, I can't even keep my eyes open. But yeah, we saw people running toward us, and there you see the cloud of smoke. I'm sorry, the tear gas just hit us.
Still dying.
And some people are setting off fireworks, but that was tear gas by the police or someone. And it's, hold on, people are running in our direction, as you can imagine.
Oh, he's gonna get
Yes, it was very intense there for a while. Again, as soon as that happened, the people all dispersed, and they seemed to go up the street towards Sunset, and then that is it. Unfortunately, things have calmed down a bit right now, but again, police are still here throughout the area. They're circling around, keeping a close watch on the businesses just in case. Reporting live from Beverly Hills, I'm Carlos Granda, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
All right, Carlos, thank you, and thank you for staying on duty here, given what you just went through. Thank you. Let's get to Eyewitness News reporter Leanne Suter. She's live in the Fairfax district, which has been the epicenter of so much of what we've been seeing tonight. Leanne.
Mark, so much damage throughout the Fairfax district. What began, as you heard Carlos say, as a peaceful protest at Pan Pacific Park, it quickly spread around the Grove, around the Farmers Market, and then up here into Fairfax district. And this is where we saw so much of that damage. This is where we also saw a lot of the trouble from all of those groups that started gathering. Taking a look at this video, this is what we saw repeatedly today. Many of those protesters throwing M80s, fireworks, into the crowds, one going off in the middle of the intersection right by us. We saw one earlier this afternoon actually land on a police officer's shoulder as they were pushing the crowd back. They certainly have been facing a lot today. We've seen rocks and bottles thrown, lots of water bottles thrown at the officers. Here in the Fairfax district, though, this is the heart of where we have seen so much damage. I want to show you a couple of things here. Over here, I mean, take a look. This is Tony and Guy Salons. This is, you can see it's completely flooded inside. The windows shattered, the alarm going off inside. All of the sprinklers have been going off, so the entire business has been flooded inside. This coming just when they got official clearance to actually open their doors. That certainly is not going to be happening anytime soon due to the damage. Outside here, you can see this is some of the stuff we found. There's clothes strewn all over the street here. You can see them still on the hangers. These are some of the things that many of these looters were grabbing. Look at this pile of sweatpants and sweatshirts here, grabbing from the stores here and just bringing out anything they could, anything they can get their hands on. In the middle of the street, this is one of the other things officers face. Many of the protesters setting fires in the middle of the street as the officers were moving through here. Certainly a very dynamic, very dangerous situation today. But for those who turned out, they said it was something they had to do. They said that it really was, they said it's been a long time coming, and they said that they had to make their voices heard.
We all want to be treated like people. That's it. Police brutality is out of control. When a black person gets abused by the police, it's like, okay, whatever, we have to riot. The damage tonight is necessary. You know why? Because this is how we feel every day walking down the street. We don't get to see the beautiful buildings that everybody else gets to see. We get to feel like we don't belong there. We get to feel like trash. We get to feel like garbage. We get to feel like we can't come here. But we came here today because we want to be a part of it. And if they don't want us to be a part of it, we want you to see what our reality is like. This is what we feel like when we walk down the streets.
For real. She's got a point, though.
Yeah, very impassioned play for why they turned out. Now, here in the Fairfax district, things have calmed down for now. A lot of the crowds have dispersed. We do not see many people. The LAPD, the officers that have been out here all day, getting a little bit of a break, but we know there are still a lot of problem spots across the city. But right here in this area, things calm for now. Certainly everyone hoping it's going to stay that way tonight. Live in the Fairfax district, Leanne Suter, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Leanne, thank you. And as we take a look at the damage across Los Angeles, a local expert on extremism says he believes these protests are driven by fringe groups.
An Eyewitness News reporter Veronica Miracle talked to a local expert about the problem and joins us live now from downtown Los Angeles. Veronica?
Well, Mark and Ellen, we've just been sitting here listening to a soundtrack of helicopters as well as police cars just going code 3 all evening, hearing fireworks being shot off. It's been very troubling just listening to all of this. And what Carlos and Leanne talked about earlier is this did start as a peaceful protest organized by a student, no less. And it has evolved into chaos here in Los Angeles and across the country. And an expert I spoke with says he believes that there are bad actors inciting violence.
As protesters mourn the death of George Floyd, hate experts say extremist groups could be inciting violence across the country. Brian Levin is the director at the Center for the Study of Hate and Extremism at CSU San Bernardino.
We've been getting reports that there are people who are trying to exploit these protests from both the far right and the hard left.
Floyd was believed to have used a counterfeit $20 bill and was being arrested for fraud. A Minneapolis police officer is then accused of kneeling on his neck for 8 minutes and killing him. Protests in every major U.S. city devolved into chaos and violence Saturday night.
We have a perfect storm here. We have economic distress. We have people who are under terrible psychological distress. We have a catalytic violent event with the horrendous killing that we saw of Mr. Floyd in Minnesota. And on top of that, we have a very divisive election season.
The arrest of the Minneapolis police officer at the center of George Floyd's death, he believes, could help bring these protests to a close more quickly. But he says there are violent fringe groups who could be taking advantage of the civil unrest.
Research shows that we are not only the most splintered that we've been in decades, but we're more entrenched in that polarization.
And Mark and Ellen, the most troubling part is that Levin tells me he believes even if this calms down now, the closer we get to the election, the more that these fringe groups will start to incite more violence again. And of course, the civil unrest may just get worse. Reporting live, Veronica Miracle, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Veronica, thank you very much. Right now we're going to check in with Chris Christie. He is over, I believe, downtown. Chris?
We've moved over to the Grove here in the Fairfax district, Ellen. You can see LAPD has now made their way over here after reports of another round of looters storming the Grove. There was a report of upwards of 20 looters in here, and it looks like they have regained order here. There's private security and law enforcement now taking up position around the Grove, trying to take a protective posture. This, again, is where a fire was set earlier today. You can see cleanup crews already out here beginning to pick up the pieces after a really destructive day here at the Grove. Obviously, the mall has been closed all day, but that Nordstrom's really took a beating and was ransacked earlier in the afternoon. Also, a fire was set to that LAPD kiosk right in front that you see right there. Fortunately, they were able to put that fire out pretty quickly. It did create quite a plume of smoke here in the midst of all of the chaos here in this general area. It's unclear exactly how many businesses have been affected, but fair to say a good bulk of them. Look at that, the Mac store completely shattered. I saw a Ray-Ban store with the front window completely shattered as well. This cleanup is going to take quite some time. Reporting live from Air 7 HD, I'm Chris Christie, ABC 7.
Did you see that?
Yeah, Chris, and it takes...
Hold on.
How many businesses?
Hold on. Where's the settings? Playback speed. Watch this.
Have been affected, but fair to say.
No, wrong way. Hold on.
A good bulk of them. Look at that. The Mac store completely shattered. I saw a Ray-Ban store with the front window completely shattered as well. This cleanup is going to take quite some time. Reporting live. Exactly how many businesses have been affected?
What the hell was he doing?
But fair to say, a good bulk of them. Look at that. The Mac store completely shattered. I saw a Ray-Ban store with the front
I'm gonna get in this ATM, boy. I'm gonna tie my shoe
as well. This cleanup is going to take quite some time. Reporting live from Air 7 HD, I'm Chris Christie, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Yeah, Chris, and it takes place at a time when after 2 months of lockdown.
As he delivered that statement earlier today, but when you think of the businesses and the emotional impact of this during this time, during a state of emergency that we were already in, as this city and our state was trying to pick up the pieces and trying to resume some semblance of normalcy, as not normal as it was going to be in any event. To have to come back to your business, especially the mom and pops. You know, a lot of these stores, they're big chains. They are well financed, and they will repair. They are insured, and they will be okay. It's just going to take some time before they can reopen the Grove with a destination, not only a great tourist destination, but a destination that so many locals in this neighborhood in our city love to visit. This is an iconic mall and one of the nice outdoor malls in our area in a time where we need outdoor places to go and breathe the fresh air as opposed to the enclosed spaces where it's a little more confined. And you know, you would hope that a mall like the Grove would be one of the first malls in the area where we could really get outside, walk around in some shops, and you know, enjoy the fresh air. Unfortunately, that is not to be.
Yeah, you said it right. It was the mom and pop stores, that add insult to injury, that they were already hurting financially, and now they go back to their shops and stores and find them vandalized. And, it's just a tough situation for these smaller businesses.
Not to mention the restaurants, too, that we're going to open as of this weekend for in-store or in-restaurant dining. That was cleared. And so that could have been going on. And, well, it's a little late now, but earlier this evening, those restaurants would have had people in them having dinner, having lunch earlier in the day. But now that's not going to happen, at least for the time being, until this situation has calmed down.
And we've been concentrating.
Incredible to see these cleanup crews already out here this evening. Part of me is a little bit in awe of these cleanup crews who have showed up this evening to try and get the process started of cleaning up, despite just what a terrible day it's been. But it's a little bit inspiring.
It's going to be a long time for that cleanup to happen, especially the Fairfax district, shop after shop.